So sad. A teen fatally shoots a Democratic Party canvasser. Put up his picture. When I first saw this story, it struck me to my core. This happened in Michigan. The reason it struck me to my core is because I remember years ago when I was a Democratic canvasser myself, I knocked on doors advocating for party principles, advocating for individuals who I believe would bring those principles to life. I also recall a couple of years ago, we had a canvasser in the state of Georgia, a place called Savannah, was shot knocking on the door. And now we have a 15-year-old who has been arrested for shooting an older canvasser. A 15-year-old child has been arrested in connection to the shooting death of Theodore Ted Lawson, a 63-year-old Michigan man who was canvassing for the Democratic Party at the time of his killing. Police have not yet released information about what may have led to the shooting, but he was knocking on doors on the city's north side, just a few blocks from his home, as he canvassed in support of Lansing City Council at-large candidate Trina Lopez. When he was killed, the candidate said Theodore Ted Lawson was found lying on the sidewalk Sunday with a gunshot wound and later died after being transported to the hospital. Lawson served as a secretary for the Ingham County Democratic Party. Michigan Congresswoman Aliya Slotkin tweeted in response to the incident, quote, "So terrible to hear that Ted Lawson was killed over the weekend while doing what he has done for so many candidates, including myself, knocking on doors and getting out the vote. Ted was one of the most involved community members I've ever met and regularly volunteered his time for projects that improve mid-Michigan. This is a huge blow to the community, and my heart goes out to Ted's loved ones who knew him." You know, the story is extremely emotional because for me, I remember how none of us really had any. It didn't matter our age. We didn't have much. Some of us would have to put our money together just to eat a decent meal. We knocked on doors believing that a leader, a politician, a public servant could transform policy. Now, were we disappointed? Of course we were. Of course we were. But our hearts were in the right place. And I know what kind of heart it takes to knock on doors and then to be killed by a 15-year-old who probably learned that move from the gun-happy parent. He stays. All right. Ms. Khan, thoughts?
Yeah, community outreach is so important, and stories like this make it feel like it's not worth it, but we need to keep doing it. And, we just don't know our neighbors anymore. We're afraid of each other, and we're armed with deadly weapons. So it's understandable that we're afraid of each other, but we've forgotten how to just talk to people. We all grew up knocking on people's doors, and it wasn't a big deal. It was a thing that we all knew how to do. It was a thing that we were used to receiving. We were used to having people come up to our doors, but now there's surveillance, there are weapons potentially in the house. We don't know who we're dealing with anymore. And unfortunately here where I live, I get asked to go canvassing and block walking with this local Democratic group that I work with sometimes. And I don't go. I choose to serve in other ways. And that's kind of sad, because I would like to talk to people and I would like to do things like that and meet people, but I'm just not trying to put myself in any kind of situation that could potentially be dangerous.
Yeah. Who can blame me at this point?